Hey everybody, it's day 3 here in Coraki. Sorry, we're really tired, exhausted, hyped up, running on adrenaline. Just wanted to say a big thank you for all the donations. They were amazingly received. They were so needed. Between me and Benny with Fresh Box, all of our friends and our beautiful customers, and my cousin Brooke and her customers, and someone else. And our friends Ange and Marty, who we're with down here, who came to help out. We raised about $10,000, and that is just incredible. We've handed out about $2,500 in cash to people in need, and we've bought specific things that we realized were needed on day 1 when we went out to all the outer farms. So with that money, we were able to purchase medicine, food for animals, baby stuff, mainly formula and nappies, and also things like clean, dry socks, butane gas for their gas cookers because no one's got electricity or running water. There were extension leads. We bought 3 gurneys, lots of plastic tubs for them to be able to put stuff in that they have actually salvaged. And yeah, it's just been really inspiring to see how everyone pulled together and made that happen for us. So thank you so much. We just finished cleaning up sorry, we're so tired, what we could of George and Lynn's house. George and Lynn are over 80. George has a catheter that he wears on the outside that he has to plug in. I'm not really sure, exactly what's wrong with him. He plugs it into a battery pack. He rides an electric chair up and down his staircase, and no one has come to their house for 10 days to see if they need help and if they're okay. So I don't even know how it happened, but we stopped and we went to check on them and we asked them what they needed, and they didn't really have any food. They had not much water, I would say. So I went back to the, the evac center where all the donations are, and I boxed up a bunch of groceries and I brought it back for them. And all she wanted was some eggs and some butter to cook with, because I've got a little gas cooker out on their front porch on the 2nd level. So last night we bought groceries. We've brought them back to them this morning, and we brought a gurney. And we walked up to George and we said, we bought a gurney and we're here to clean everything up for you. He burst into tears. I have an 80-year-old man weeping on my shoulder because I brought a gurney to his house to help him. His wife, Lynn, is very unwell. She can barely move. I think there's something, wrong with her knees. I had to sit with her on her porch and just held her hand. And she's just shaking her head in disbelief. And I said, do you need any medication? She said, no. I said, have you got any money? She said, no. We've only got $45 left, and there's no internet and there's no phone reception, and we can't get into town because our car is flooded. And you could tell that was a real stress for us. So I just pulled out my wallet, and we have the donation money. We gave her $200. And, these are very proud people. And initially George was like, what's going on? And she turned to him and she said, shush, we need this. And they took it. And I said, don't even think about it. We're not discussing it again. You just keep that for an emergency. The reason I'm sitting in the car making these videos is because I don't want these guys to see me cry, because I have not been through anything they've been through. I'm just a bit shocked, and it's so hard not to cry here. For those of you that, may not know, I grew up overseas. I grew up in the Middle East, and I grew up in Asia. And I've traveled all over the world. I've been to India and Turkey and Africa, and I have never seen the devastation and the utter chaos that people are living in here without any support. When anything happens in a third world country, everyone jumps to, and generally aid goes in there. There has been very little aid sent to this part of our world. I'm in the town of Coraki, and when Coraki called the SES, they told them that the town was too small for them to worry about and that they were on their own. That's basically what they said to them. And no one has been out here ever since. There has been no doctor come out to check on them. There has been no emergency services really looking for people. There have been men in tinnies using their own fuel doing search and rescues from day one. Coraki was cut off with the water for 9 days, and civilians were delivering food to them in boats because nobody from our government, who is supposed to protect us and work with us in times of crisis, had been out here dropping food, checking on people, sending medication. Absolutely nothing. I cannot tell you how hyped up you feel and how many millions of things you've done in a day. And then you think at the end of the day, oh my God, I barely scratched the surface. I hardly, I helped people, but it just feels like so little in such a massive catastrophe. I was at one of the evac centres where all the donations are. There's no evacuation centres here like for people to sleep in. So they're all either sleeping in their filthy cars or sleeping in their houses where they've managed to scratch out, hopefully, a clean corner and have a blow-up mattress on the floor if they're lucky. Or they've got a tent that they've pitched in their filthy home and they're living in it. Old people, children, babies. How have we allowed this to keep going on? And it's it's over 2.5 weeks now. I don't understand. I've just dropped off some donations, and as I was at the donation place, this girl walked in covered in mud. She had thongs on with just mud all over her feet, and she has a 1.5-year-old baby boy with her who's got no pants on and a nappy and a jumper that's clean. And I could tell she was in shock. She could barely speak. I walked up to her, I said, "Hi, my name's Georgie. Would you like some help?" And she said, "Oh, yeah, that'd be good." I said, "I'm going to get you a pram. Is that okay?" She said, "Yeah." She said, "Do you have a tent?" I thought, oh God, where have you been sleeping? I said, "Yeah, I'll get you a tent." Me and Ange, we got food for her. We got the right size nappies, baby formula. We got her some medicine. I asked her, she said, "Oh, we live a bit out of town." I said, "Who's with you?" She said, "My mum and my brother." We packed up her car with everything she needed, clothes, got the baby the right size clothes, and we were so petrified to let her drive away because of the utter shock she was in. But then a good thing happened. 2 days later, you kind of go to the volunteer area and you take an address off the board, and we took an address for an old lady's house called Mary. And I didn't go, unfortunately, but fortunately Benny and Ange went, and they turn up, and Mary is this girl whose name's Hillary's grandma, and they're there to clean her house, and Hillary turned up with the baby. So we know she's okay, and we've got photos that I'll post, and they've really done an amazing job cleaning Mary's house up. Mary's 4th generation there, and she's just really in there to get it done. And the house is nearly clean, and they're going to move back in tonight and be able to sleep there. Just another point I want to touch on is the smell. It's sewage and mud, and the amount of dead animals everywhere is horrific. We ran into a farmer that we stopped at on the way into town, and honestly, you just look at these people and they look back at you when it's the first time you met them, and you just burst into tears and hug because you just can't believe it for them. And then they tell you their story and they just need you to listen to them. A lot of these people, they just need you to listen to them. He said, "I was up to here in water. I was up to here. It was so high, and I was trying to save my cows. And I was trying to save them, and I was trying to save their babies, and I just let them wash away, and I just watched them wash away, and I couldn't do anything." And he said their neighbours were on the roof of their place, terrified with their 2-year-old. They sat there for about 15 hours till they could get help. And they just watched their whole life wash away in front of them, everything. I mean, these guys work so hard. at that point I offered them one of them. I said, do you want any clean socks and undies? One of them took a packet of undies, and I'd given away all the clean socks, so I took the socks off my feet. It was the morning, we just got there, they were clean, and I gave them to him because he was just so desperate to not have wet feet. We had jerry cans with us, we'd taken petrol, so we filled up his I think like 4-wheel drive with some unleaded, and they just asked us for some bananas and some bread, some butane gas, and we had a chat. And they were trying to be so tough, but they were so happy to cry as well because they just needed to let it out. One man that I didn't personally meet, but some friends of mine were working with, had a little pony wash up into their home, and it was dead. And they had to obviously try and remove the pony, and they grabbed its legs and it literally just disintegrated in their hands. They couldn't even move the body. It just fell apart. And I know another farmer's had a lot of animals washed up that are still alive, but so horrendously hurt that he's had to euthanize them. And he's a good guy for doing that. And can you imagine the pain of having to do that for people's animals? Must just be so deep and huge and heavy. Don't forget, a lot of these people have not only lost a business, but they've lost a house in the same town as well. The lady at the local grocery store in Coraki had her house swept off its footings, and she's gone down there and opened her business. She's barely got anything in there to sell, and she broke down to Ben and Marty and said, I don't even know why I'm here. Open, like no one's coming in, everyone's in such chaos, but I've got nowhere else to go, so I just came and opened the shop. And then they've got no internet, so a guy comes in to buy cigarettes, and Marty's standing there, and of course the internet doesn't work, so his FPOS doesn't work, and Marty just paid for his cigarettes. And none of us smoke and we're not really into it, but in that instance, you just want to take away any angst and any pain or, extra obstacles for people. So Marty just paid for his groceries and in cash and gave the woman some extra money at the spa. I had a woman flag me down because she saw me driving around. I stopped, I got out, and she said, I need your help. I can't do this anymore. She said, I'm on my own. My husband's in hospital and I think he's going to die. He was taken away 3 days ago. And I said, would you like me to take you there? And she said, no, they won't let me visit him because the hours that I can go aren't the visiting hours, so they won't let me in. And she said, on top of that, I'm waiting for the vet because my dog sustained such bad injuries that she's not coping and they might put her down today, and I just need someone to pull up my floorboards for me, please. Do you think you could help me? Was it a cause I could help you? I thought, God, how am I going to do this? No one's even got a hammer or a bloody crowbar or anything. So I turn around, look down the street, and there's 8 Army Defence Force reserves walking towards me who are all, 20 years old, pretty entitled, don't really want to be doing very much, don't really seem that enthused. And I just grabbed them. I said, you guys aren't doing anything, you're going to come with me. And I delegated them out because no one is there. No generals are there. No overseer is there to tell them what to do. They've just landed and been dumped there, which is also not their fault. So, I split them up into 3 old people's houses, George and Lynn and this lady and the other guy across the road. I said, right, you're going to help him do his tools. You're going to help this woman pull up floorboards. You're going to help, and you're going to, not say anything awful to these people and not be smart asses, and you're just going to help. And I have to say they were excellent. They were really excellent. It's huge, guys. It's so huge. What we really need down here in Coraki is feet on the ground and Broadwater and Woodburn, all these surrounding little towns that are not getting much attention. We need guys to come down with tools. We need equipment. We need gurneys. We need generators. We need hammers. We need things to take skirting boards off. It's just massive, and the reserves have been sent with no equipment. The SES are doing barely anything from what I can see. The cops are doing nothing, and neither are the fireys. They're all just standing around sort of pretending to, answer questions and do I don't know what. They're doing nothing. I had to go to the SES and beg them to borrow 2 hammers and 2 crowbars to help a woman pull skirting board off her floor. And I even offered them my gold earrings as collateral in case I didn't come back with their hammers and their crowbars while they're all sitting around having a cup of tea. You know, after the initial shock and sheer disbelief that after 9 days there is still no government help there really and no officials, you just are so heartbroken for these people. That could be any of ours, grandmother, grandfather, brother with a newborn 3-week-old baby that I saw a man changing his baby's nappy in the back of a car on a tarp because it was the cleanest place, and they're living in their car right now. That could be your grandma sleeping on a cold, wet, muddy floor, no mattress, no sheets, because no one has come to check on her to see if she's even alive. And I know this is true because I met that woman. What the hell is the government doing? This is our chance, guys. How we react to this situation as a community of Australia, as human beings of the world, this is our chance to change our history. This is our chance to be on the right side of all things good for humans. We have to do it. They need hands on the ground down there. We need people helping. There is not enough people helping. There is lots of donations, which is amazing, and there's lots of, you know, even money donations coming through. The only charity that I would be donating to at the moment is AussieHelpingHands.com.au, because they are giving 100% of the proceeds back, and they are on the ground there every single day, slogging their guts out, trying to make these people's lives better. But this is your chance. This is my chance for our kids. How we respond to this as humans is going to determine our Australia.